Hey, all my fantasy football friends, welcome to the Multiple First Dynasty Football Show here on YouTube. This is your boy, Tony, Stosh X on the Sleeper app, coming at you with the Super Bowl week edition of the Multiple First Show. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Greg, the Philosiraptor. How are you today, sir?
Oh, it is Super Bowl week, man. I am doing great.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling good too. I'm excited for this game, man. This is going to be sweet. The conference championships were great. Well, at least one of them was. The NFC game kind of ended real fast.
What a shame. What a shame.
Yeah, it's too bad, man. And then that Purdy injury sounds like that's pretty severe in his elbow. He's gonna be hung up for a while. So, what's up with that, man? That's rough for them.
Absolutely. So, if I recall correctly, I had the one seeds on both sides, right?
Yeah.
Right, and so I called that one. You had San Francisco, did you not?
Yeah, I had Frisco and Chiefs. Yep.
Yep.
Didn't feel
so
good.
Who do you have this week?
Who do I have this week? Super Bowl picks. I got. I'm gonna take Kansas City over Philly. I'm thinking of a score. I'm thinking 24-20 is my projection. I'm thinking both teams have about 4 scoring opportunities, and the Chiefs maybe score, a touchdown as opposed to a field goal, and take it home. I want to put a little footnote on that prediction of KC over Philly, though. I think this game is going to be the coin flip is going to dictate a lot of this team. Like, whoever wins that initial coin flip is going to have a big advantage in this game and will probably win the game. But my official projection, Kansas City over Philly.
I like Kansas City too. I think Travis Kelce might have a very big game.
Yeah.
I think this is a moment where Travis Kelce has an opportunity to go 100 yards and 2 touchdowns and a Super Bowl MVP, and we'll all say, okay, I think we know who the GOAT is. Right?
The greatest tight end of all time.
Yeah. Right? Like, so I it wouldn't surprise me, and of course, the Kelce Bowl. But it wouldn't surprise me if he was the the person who put his stamp on the game.
It's funny when you talk about the Kelce brothers and you circle all the way back to like this time last year when the coach sent Jason Kelce the keg of beer trying to get him to come back and join, and now he has the opportunity to win another ring. Just really, really cool. And against his brother, like, and Kelce on Travis on the other side, he's been so dominant for so long. And this season, I don't know if you guys realize this, Kelce actually had the best season of his career, at least in terms of fantasy scoring. He put up more points than he ever has before. So, like, both these guys having such tremendous runs and just storylines and everything, and it's going to be a sweet game. I'm stoked to watch it. You got plans for the game? You just going to chill in your living room? Or are you going out? Or
yeah, no, I think we're opting for the chill in the living room option this year. My kids have finally really taken to football. They actually, by the way, loved the Pro Bowl flag football games. So, like, that worked for what it's supposed to do, which is be a great entry point for kids. My kids have really enjoyed it this year, so we're going to do it up at home so that we can keep their focus on the game a little bit instead of going out and maybe disappear with their friends like that. That was our thing.
Yeah, so fun fact, Saturday was my birthday, February 4. So I got the chance to, we had a little get-together on Sunday at my parents' house, and then we, a lot of family and friends, and just ice cream and cake and lasagna, and watched the flag game. I thought the flag game was pretty entertaining. I enjoyed it. I thought all the events were good. It's still tough, though. Like, you can tell they're still trying to figure it out with the whole Pro Bowl. Yeah, thank you.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
It's
33.
a tough sport. Oh, baby. It's a tough sport to do.
An all-star game.
An all-star game format. Oh, you're 33. I was playing fantasy football before you were born.
Yeah, I believe it. I think my first fantasy league ever, I was like 13, maybe. I'm pretty sure I had like Donovan McNabb was my first fantasy quarterback. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, that's still you've got some skins on the wall there. That's a while back, but I believe my first fantasy draft was in 1990. First pick was
Jeez,
very sad.
there you go. That's going back. Yeah, my, you know, the big thing that got me real into it, like really addicted to it, was I in 2006. Was it 2007? I think it was 06. LaDainian Tomlinson's record year when he broke the rushing touchdown record.
Yes.
I played in my dad's work league with like a bunch of grown men, and I had LT, and I went like massive in the regular season, and I actually got dusted in the first round of the playoffs. My old man ended up beating me as an 8 seed, knocking off a 1 seed, but that was when it really started flowing, man. Like I love
Oh, I
fantasy.
love it.
Yeah,
That's great.
it was when you took Larry Johnson over LaDainian Tomlinson, and I had the 102 pick, and I took LT. It was great.
Boy, that was a heyday for bell cow running back. That time.
Oh yeah, man, that was beautiful back then.
So we're into the non-point scoring season here. Are you getting psyched for that? Taking a little break? Where's your head at about the non-scoring season?
I take a break in terms of activity in my leagues. Like I'm not sending out very many offers and doing stuff like that. But like I'm reading, I'm looking at mock drafts. Like I look at mock drafts like every day at work, be they fantasy or real NFL mocks, and do a lot of research, a lot of reading, a lot of watching film and stuff. So like I'm still involved, but I'm not as like active in game, you know. But I love the off season. It's good times. I love the whole year of fantasy.
Oh well, that's why we love Dynasty, right? So one of the big events for me, and I think like the kickoff, I would say, for my like prospect scouting every year is the Senior Bowl. I know there's some All-Star games earlier than that, and I skip those for the most part. But the Senior Bowl and the Senior Bowl practices is when I start tuning in.
Yeah.
Um, in previous years, that's where you've started to figure out that guys like Daniel Jones and Justin Herbert are going to get big draft capital. It's where guys like Christian Watson first emerged as higher end draft prospects and things. And so I just the practices are all on TV. I watched about 10 minutes, but I always like to go listen to some media folks who were there, give their reports every day. It's take an hour a day, and go listen to a few recap of the practices, and then I go watch the game. And it was an interesting game this year. It's the first time in a long time that there hasn't been a big quarterback there. That's one of the things you're usually watching for.
It was weird not having any of the big name QBs there. Yeah.
Yeah, Will Levis, I think he's going to get big draft capital. That's why he wasn't there. But it was weird that he chose not to. He was the one who had the invite, didn't go. He must think he's locked in pretty high, I would think. The best quarterback there was Jake Haener,
Yeah.
I thought.
Yep.
Fresno State. He was somebody who I liked a year ago. He had like an up and down senior year, but he looked like a riser to me. I think he could get into the second round. I think he could get into like the top 50 draft capital range, which would put him in play as maybe a second round pick in your rookie drafts, in a Superflex league. There were some other guys, a kid named Bagent, a Division II quarterback from Shepherd, set all the records for yards and touchdowns and things like that. Like through 150 career touchdowns, like some crazy number, but at a very low level. And he looked pretty solid too as a very developmental player. But these were mostly day three guys. Max Dugan from TCU also had a decent week, but I thought Jake Haener is the guy who really helped himself. He's a little short, but he throws a good ball. It's not a great pass, but he throws a good pass. He does everything well, nothing great. The big superstar among the fantasy positions was Tajay Spears, the
Yep.
running back from Tulane,
Yep.
who is little but weighed in bigger than expected. So this was a guy who had size concerns, comes out with size concerns still, but he's like um, Devin Singletary size. He's not Darren Sproles size,
Yeah.
right? So that was a good thing for him. And then he went and really popped all week in practice and looked great in the game.
The kid from Northwestern looked like he was making some noise too. I forget his name, the tailback, but
yeah,
uh,
he had an okay week. The running back group again, none of the very big running backs were here. They're all
underclassmen or opted out. Yeah.
And unfortunately, one of the guys I did want to see was Rashod Johnson, who was Bijan's understudy at Texas,
Yeah.
and he broke his hand. So he is going to be able to run and perform at the combine, but he didn't get to play in the game.
Yeah, he did that at Senior Bowl practice, right? He broke his hand.
Yes, at the practice. So, but I mean, he'll be fine for the season. But I really, that was an opportunity miss to see a guy. But it was okay time for the running backs, the wide receivers. I forget the name off the top of my head. The kid from Princeton is a real athlete.
Yeah.
And the tight ends looked really good this year. Last year, you saw the same thing. Last year, a bunch of guys who had 7th round grades had really nice Senior Bowl, and Rose, Jake Ferguson, Daniel Bellinger, several Jelani Woods, a bunch of guys who were kind of off the board. Rose, some guys did this year. Luke Musgrave.
That's the Oregon State guy, right? Yeah, I was reading about him. Yeah, he made some noise.
He is physical.
Yeah,
it's a guy who had I think it was 12 catches this year, right? Like they don't. But tight end is a position where sometimes the college use the play. He tested. He's going to test great. You could see it in the weigh-in. He's very big, very good. And he made some plays. Cameron Letu, Alabama, looked good. The kid from Miami was better than I thought he would be. So there were some guys who may have moved into range where they're going to mid-round draft capital, and you're going to want to look at them in the 3rd and 4th rounds, especially in your tight end premium leagues. Doing that last year with guys like Otten and Bellinger and Ferguson and likely Woods has all paid off. And I would be looking to do that again, especially since the 3 of the top 4 guys at the position weren't eligible, right? So, and so Musgrave being the only one who was. So the guys behind the top 4 looked pretty good too. So I'm very interested in the later round tight end positions.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this tight end class. There's a lot of ball players, and last year we saw a lot of depth. You touched on a lot of those guys, but I'm really happy there's a nice infusion of tight end in this generation, because this absolute wasteland that we see at the tight end position league wide is hopefully going to resolve itself in the coming years as these players come of age. Tight ends notoriously take a long time to come along, but I would love if there was just 8 or 9 Mark Andrews, Hockenson, Kelsey caliber guys out there, so tight end becomes like a real thing and not just Kelsey wins, which is what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, and even if they don't get into the top caliber, if you had solid players at 8, 9, 10, and it wasn't such a drop off wasteland out there, right? Like even if they weren't performing, Travis Kelce's performing wide receiver 1 number, that's huge. But if you were even getting wide receiver 3 numbers from your back end tight end ones, that would be something.
Yeah.
It makes me less want to spend a 1st round pick on a guy like Mayer, if or Musgrave if he goes in the 1st round. there are 8 tight ends I'm interested in.
Yep.
So I'll take one in the third and another one in the fourth. Kind of.
Yeah, I'm pretty much always looking to throw a rookie tight end on my taxi most years. I mean, just it's usually worthwhile to have a guy in there, and that's where I was seeing a lot of like Ottens and Likeleys and Bellingers carry over. And now those are nice little eggs to hopefully hatch into real players moving forward.
Absolutely. You made any trades this week?
Bro, I made a trade this week. I made a super chill trade. We had a guy come in and pick up an orphan in one of my leagues, and he immediately started going to work, made a few deals, and I was lucky enough to make a deal with him. I made a chill 1-for-1. I sent the 207 rookie away, and I picked up Chiefs wide receiver Kadarius Toney. I was I'm interested in Toney. I'm not some Toney truther. This is like one of the only shares I have of him now. The 207 seemed like a fair price to pay. I don't know how much wide receiver depth you're going to see at that point in the draft, and I needed to take a shot. And Toney seemed interesting.
Yeah, I think that's a running back. Maybe it's Jake Hayner, right? Like that kind of thing.
Yep.
I think that's a good shot.
Juju could walk. I mean, Toney could step up to a big role in this offense, or he could completely flake. You don't know, but I've enjoyed what little flashes he's put on tape. And anyone in the Mahomes sphere, I'm usually willing to take a shot on. So,
I like Toney more than Sky Moore right now.
Yeah, same.
And those are the real, and I haven't looked at MVS's contract. I thought he was going to be there for at least 2 years, but somebody who knows contracts told me this week that he could go this year too. So I don't know.
I'm bringing up his contract right now in Spork Track. Let's take a look at that. Potential out after 2023. They can take a $4 million dead cap if they cut him. Otherwise, he's owed $11 million. So
after 2023.
No, after this season. After 22. So they could, if they keep him, they owe him 11. They could cut him for a $4 million hit.
So it's 7. So if they don't want to pay him 7,
that's
the way they got to think. That's the way I think you have to think of these. We're paying him 4 either way, and we have the option to pay him another 7 to keep it.
Seems like a high number, depending on what they do. They
could end up with not a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess how they feel about guys like Toney and Hardman and Moore on their roster is going to dictate that, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Hardman's a free agent.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, he is. Well, so we'll see how that goes. What about you? Did you make any moves this week? Or
I did not
recently?
No, I haven't made any moves. Not been able to get any done this week. I have tried a couple times, but I made some moves before our last record on that same. Somebody came in, took an orphan, and I got to work deal. So I think that's a great thing. I haven't had any orphans come in any of my leagues this week, and other people are kind of keeping their powder dry a little bit. So I'm not seeing too much action. The combine is coming though, so we will get plenty of movement here in 2 or 3 weeks, and free agency is coming, right? So those are times when you get a lot of movement.
Yeah, we made a deal in our 24/7 league. We prior to the NFC Championship game kicking off, we were able to we received an offer in our inbox for Brock Purdy. We got pretty insane offer for Mr. Purdy. I'm going to go ahead and bring that up. Mr. Any Given Sunday offered us his pair 224 second-round picks. That's 2 second-round picks in the 2024 draft. A 23 third in Hunter Renfrow, all for Brock Purdy. And
so good.
We smashed accept on that. Nothing against Purdy, but that's a lot of assets, and our 24 draft is loaded now. Just so insane on picks. That was what, the 303 we got? Yeah, 303, 2 seconds, and Hunter Renfrow for Purdy. I mean, Renfrow might not even be a player we keep rostered, depending, but probably will. But can't argue with something like that. We're all set at quarterback. Yeah, a lot of times people are gonna throw you a bone like that. You just hit accept and you move on. Don't try to counter. Just take what the defense is giving you, as they say.
Yeah, and well, I just want to note, like, we got those 4 assets for Brock Purdy, who we got off of waivers.
Yeah.
right? And we didn't need a quarterback, right? But he was just worth adding, and that's why, right? And this is why you grind the waivers in your leagues every week. I know some people do not do that. This is why I do that, right? This is I know you do it too. Like this is why I love those moves. I have to be always looking to scrape out guys like either Jerick McKinnon to go win you a title or Brock Purdy to go turn into 3 picks. I mean, and those are not bad picks. Like 303 to me this year is you're going to get a guy who is in your top 24, right? Because the way that it's like people are going to have some reaches, and you're going to get a guy who is like on a tier with guys who are mid-second round picks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
However you evaluate it, it's going to be a good pick, and then you're going to get 2 seconds on top of that. I think Hunter Renfrow is a perfectly fine piece. I don't own any shares anywhere other than here, but I think, like, he was a wide receiver 1 last year, right? And they're changing quarterbacks, they're changing schemes. If they go to that Patriots scheme, and they paid him too, right?
Yep.
So if they go to that Patriots scheme, like, why not? I think that's. I think there's a very real chance that Hunter Renfrow is worth more than.
He's interesting. He's I don't know how much he breaks into our starting lineup, and a lot of those assets we received are probably like future trade fodder. Like that 303, I mean, we could use that, just leverage up and just trade something up. Those 224 seconds, I mean, maybe around the trade deadline next year, we could utilize those to tier up at receiver, tier up somewhere, and make a push. So we just gained so much flexibility, just so much juice. And Hall for Brock Purdy. I mean, on this same team, this is a team where we traded away Jawan Johnson, Saints tight end, and we got 2 fourths. We traded away Dante Foreman. We got a 25 first. I mean, just low value assets that we either got hyper low in the draft or off the waiver wire, and we're able to flip them.
All of those are free.
Yeah, into real things, and that's the name of the game, baby. I mean, that's why you prospect. Geno Smith was a big one for me last year. When I knew it was him and Drew Lock there together, I picked up Geno and any waiver wire is available, and I was able to. I've mostly flipped off those shares, so it's pretty interesting stuff.
And one of the things about it is when you get these guys for these very low discounts, you can get out too early, and
it's fine.
And it's fine.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Like you still may turn to great profit. And if you end up turning less than all the profit, that's just fine. Like even if you only make 40 cents on the final dollar of profit, if you got it all for next to nothing, and somebody else made the other 60 cents, that's like okay. You can get by with that stuff.
Yeah, one of my favorite deals that I made the same trade on Geno like 3 separate times, where I traded Geno away for a 23 second and 24 second. And like, yeah, he's probably worth a little more than that, especially after he gets the extension he's going to get. Like, you probably could get a first for him, but like, I'm happy with that deal. I'd make those deals again because you're getting way younger and you're getting reliable assets. You're getting a 2-for-1. You're getting everything I like for somebody you didn't spend anything on. So you just can't feel bad about that. Yeah, even if you didn't cash in at the tippy top. So
yeah, and we got Purdy for 125 fab out of 1,000 out of what was, I don't remember what the fab is.
It was 200? Like all of our fab. Yeah, I think it's 200 in the league.
Yeah, 115 and 110 were the next 2 bids, and people were coming in smacking their heads, because they didn't spend just a little bit more. And I just we did so much business on that, and having 2 extra seconds next year, plus a fourth, and the extra first the year after, we're just in position to pile up young assets and make ourselves very difficult to compete with for a lot of years. It's the multiple firsts mantra.
Love it. I love being difficult to compete with. I'm not trying to compete. I'm trying to have a blatant advantage over my teammates and just win nonstop. We're going to do so much winning, you're going to get sick and tired of winning. Uh,
All right, so who are you buying high on this week?
Yo, buys and sells. So we like to buy high and sell low on the channel. You heard that right. Players that are rising that we're buying, and players that are falling that we're trying to get out of. And Tony's buy high right now is Evan Ingram, the tight end for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think there's a real nice buy opportunity on him right now. Evan Ingram finished as tight end 5 on the season. And he just made so much noise down the stretch, was real good. He's 28 years old, so I think you can get him cheaper. He's got that impending free agency. I think there's this, this uncertainty surrounding him because of the impending free agency, but I fully expect him to re-sign. Ingram made a lot of noise. We've seen him do it other times in his career, although there was a big stretch of downtime for him. Very talented tight end. They're going to keep building around Trevor Lawrence. We saw Trevor Lawrence ascend, utilize his tight end. Not just him as a player to utilize his tight end, but the offense design is to get the tight end involved. I see this Jaguars team only making strides forward. I think Evan Ingram's going to come back, like I said, and this guy's currently valued as a tight end 13 on Keep Trade Cut. And when you look at his points scored among other tight ends, I mean, Kelsey's obviously in that rarefied air, but that next tier, that Andrews, Hockenson, Ingram scored 15 less points than Mark Andrews in tight end premium this past season. So he's a guy that you probably got for peanuts to begin the season. He's now worth a good bit, and I expect him to continue to be valuable. I mean, if I could send like that 207 I traded earlier, if I could send that away to get Evan Ingram in a tight end premium league, I'd love to do that. That would be great. I don't know if his owner would sell for that price, but any like middle, second, maybe I got to throw in a third or something, a little bit of juice to get him. I think you're adding a lot of points to your roster. A contending team can go out and buy Evan Ingram. Even if you have an established tight end, I think he'll make himself a decent flex option in a tight end premium league in the upcoming year. So I'm buying Evan Ingram right now.
I agree with all of that. I mean, I think he's not valued highly enough, I don't believe. And I think he has risen for sure, right? He definitely qualifies as, right? This is a guy who, a year ago was the tight end 24, I believe, right? So and now he's the tight end. I have him at tight end 12, but like he's just massively up over the last. He's over the last 12 months, but I still think he's got room to go up, right? Like, why isn't he a top 6 tight end after this finish with this quarterback in this offense? And I think it's like you said, it's uncertainty about whether he's going to. It's uncertainty about whether he's going to be able to stay there, and I think he definitely is going to be back in Jacksonville. Right?
Yeah, high probability he returns, right? I mean, you don't know for sure anything this time of year, but I'd be willing to bet that Evan Ingram goes back to Jacksonville.
Absolutely. I'm absolutely willing to bet that Evan Ingram goes back to Jacksonville, so that makes him, to me, a really nice buy high. My buy high is Devonta Smith. Keep Trade Cut has him as the wide receiver 11. Dynasty Trade Calculator has him as the wide receiver 16. I think 11 is low. 16 is very low. He has risen all season, but he is still not high enough. The difference between 11 and 16 is mostly about guys, right?
Yeah.
So like whether he's just in front of Kupp and Adams and Diggs and guys like that, whether he's just behind them. But I'm wanting to pivot into Devonta Smith. Those guys, if I can pivot in from any of the old players, like Adams or Diggs, Kupp or Tyreek, even if I have to give up a little something with that, I would be very happy to do that. And I would love to move from DK Metcalf, T. Higgins to Devonta Smith and get a piece, which I think you can do at these prices right now.
I think you can, yeah. Even Diggs, who you mentioned earlier, I think you could probably move Diggs to get Smith and a rookie, something, a high second or something like that.
Right.
That's a trade I would definitely think about.
Right. So I think those are Devonta Smith has risen all season. He is definitely high for his historic value. But, like, why is he not in the Jalen Waddle conversation? Is it still because he's small? Is that really where we're at?
Yeah, he's put it out there on the field for 2 years already, and you can tell the size isn't hindering him. I mean, he looked great. He looked great in that NFC Championship game. I'm in with you on Devonta Smith. I like that a lot.
Yeah, so that's and he's actually been a buy high for you early this season, and I just think we're like he's just not high enough yet. So I think it needs to be set again.
Yep. So selling low. So we're gonna sell depreciating assets, players that you want to exit because you're you're not gonna get what you could have several months ago, but still willing to make a deal to get out of this player. For me, I'm gonna sell a rookie, which is always a bit of a risk, but I'm gonna go ahead and sell Drake London. Drake London is the wide receiver 13 on keep trade cut right now. Don't know why that seems really high for him. Drake London scares me. Several reasons. First of all, it's a run-first offense. Second of all, the team's not very good. Quarterback tumult is well known there. London finished strong, and by no means do I not like the player or the talent. I do think he's a quality wide receiver, but I expect Kyle Pitts to emerge as this team's number one threat in the passing game. I don't know what's going to happen at QB. I don't. If I could get off of Drake London and get like a middle first round pick this year, plus some juice with it, some kind of 2-for-1, like give me the 107 and a 24 second round pick. I would probably sell London for that. You can re-roll that pick for, a quarterback that may fall, a Richardson who's falling or something. You could get one of these upper echelon receivers in the class, Addison, Johnson, whatever, and then have some juice on the backside. And I don't think you really lost much going from wide receiver A to wide receiver B there. So I'm willing to let go of Drake London. Not that I think he's going to zero or anything. He could definitely still produce, but I think his what he represents in trade value is something I would cash in on, because I think what you could get for him is more than he's going to give you moving forward.
Okay. All right.
Who are you selling, brother?
So, hang on just a second. I just sent you an offer for Drake.
Did you?
Yeah,
in taxi
you can have
stand?
a look while I talk.
All right. Ooh, Kirk in a second. Ooh. What's that second round pick? I gotta look.
I think it's
204 and Christian Kirk. Yeah, that's something to consider for sure. This is like my only share of him. It's the only league I own him.
You can mull that live on air, guys. Yeah. High drama. This is not scripted, unlike the NFL.
Yeah,
right? NFL scripted.
Yeah.
No. I'm just kidding. We don't do conspiracy. No, but yeah, like live on. I'm selling Joe Mixon, man. I'm selling Joe Mixon. First of all, let me just say, if anybody out there is a lawyer and wants to have like a Twitter bit, do what the injury docs do, but these law things. Like, here's my fantasy take on what this guy's going to get charged with and what that looks like compared to other people's suspensions.
I like that. Yeah.
Right.
Funny. That'd be a funny bit. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. Like NFL public. I don't know. Yeah. So I'm selling Joe Mixon. This is bad. Like, I don't know all the stuff. Right. I don't know all the stuff. What I do know is that there was a video of him when he was in college, that if he had been in the NFL when that happened, and if that had happened today, he'd have been suspended for like a year. Right?
Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about. I've never heard this story. Yeah.
You didn't know this?
No.
Okay, when he was a draft prospect, there was a video of him. It's like a security footage from some McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
And he hauls off and beats the snot out of a woman.
A woman? Yeah. That's
who he knew.
Rough. Yeah.
Right, I don't think this was domestic violence. I don't think he was in a relationship with this woman. Right? He just assaulted a woman in a restaurant, in a fast food restaurant, right? On security camera.
It's insane. Yeah.
But he was not in the NFL at the time.
Yeah.
right? So it came in as like a prior offense instead of under the direct jurisdiction of the league's stuff,
Yeah.
right? And he's kept his nose clean. And now we get charges of him threatening somebody with a firearm.
Yeah, that's scary.
I don't know all the stuff. But if anybody out there, if you have a Joe Mixon share and anybody out there thinks they're buying the dip on him, let's sell.
What's
Sell
his
for what
contract look like? Could they move on from him? They could let him
um,
go for.
well,
It's a pretty big cap hit. I don't know if they could get out from him.
there's morals clauses, right? Like, I mean,
No, I agree. Yeah.
I don't know what the thing is, but like if you get charged with felonies, most of these contracts have outs on them.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
And he was charged with a misdemeanor. But like part of the other thing is he's been charged with a misdemeanor, which means it usually, unlike say the Alvin Kamara situation, that was charged as a felony, which means that oftentimes it can take years to go to court. This misdemeanor stuff comes to court in 100 days or less, right? So this is gonna go to court before, unless the charges get dropped or something. And they could suspend him either way, right? So, like, I just think there is a really... And he wasn't good this year. And if you take out his 5-touchdown game, he was terrible this year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, like, if you can sell somebody on his overall performance, including the 5-touchdown game, and also that this arrest thing isn't that big a deal, like, get out. Get out. You can get a 2 this year and a 2 next year. Get out. Don't care. Get out. That's my take on Joe Mixon.
All right, I'm countering you on that deal. I would make that deal for Judy instead of Kirk. I'm gonna throw that ball back to your court. It's exchanging offers live on the air. Now you kick it around.
Okay. All right. So.
All right, yeah, no, we're moving on though. So
we're moving on.
Yeah. Mr. Philosiraptor here just finished a startup draft. We talked about that a little bit on a previous show, but I got the draft board brought up here. Greg just completed 30 rounds of Dynasty Fantasy Football drafting here in January, February. This was a kicker rookie startup, so if you're not familiar with that, this is where you use kickers that are live in the draft to represent rookie picks. The first kicker taken is the first rookie, the second kicker is the 102 rookie, and so on. What did you guys do? Did you guys do 5 rounds worth of kickers?
We did as many kickers as... it's going to be a 4-round draft in future years.
Yeah.
We did as many kickers as you want to take.
Okay. Yep.
So we ended up going through 508.
But yeah, Greg's got a nice Herbert Lawrence start. I really like the way this looks, but I'll let you talk about it.
All right. So, I think the first thing to notice is, like we did, and this was very much inspired by what ended up happening last year, is I ended up trading up to get to Justin Herbert, and so I got the Herbert start. And the more I look at everything, and you see this completed board here, if you look at the quarterbacks, man, they run off the board very fast. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So we've got 11 quarterbacks plus 102 and 103 by the end of the second round. Right?
This is a third round reversal also, if you're following along at home.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Tua in the third, Cousins, Daniel Jones, and Jared Goff in the fifth. And you're getting real close to out of quarterbacks pretty quickly here. So to me, getting up for 2 of the big ones and not worrying about it is a big strategy, and it allows you to fade the position and still stay competitive. I think Herbert and Lawrence is going to leave me competitive for half a decade, right? Like, I don't think there's a lot of other opportunities to do that besides going out and getting your 2 quarterbacks, right? And so, somebody started. I could have stayed where I was started Lawrence and Watson, right?
Yeah.
That's, I guess, the other option I had.
Yeah, I like what you did better than doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. But the key was once I saw my first quarterback range, then I'm going to try to get up from the second round into the quarterback range again, 2 of them. I just think it was excellent. The only other quarterback I took was Jordan. How do you like that? I took Jordan Love at the 10:04.
It's weird seeing Stafford was available to you. Definitely, I see your strategy. You're looking for someone who's younger and healthier and probably a starter, and it's your QB3. So it's, if you were still looking for your QB2, maybe you go Stafford there instead.
Yes.
Yeah, I like the pick. But it is awkward a little bit there, and you see it's just so dry at quarterback after like the Love Stafford. I mean, Purdy dude takes a shot on Brady even. It's tough drafting this time of year, and Love's pretty safe. I mean, I feel like Love's going to start eventually for someone. Maybe not even this year. I mean, it's hard to think this guy's not going to hit the field ever. So it's the price he paid was fair. 10th round. I mean, that's. What other rookie pick was available? Yeah.
He's going into his 4th year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, is that right?
Jordan Love is entering his 4th season. Yes.
He's going into his 4th year, right? So, it seems impossible to me that they're not going to play him or trade him.
Yeah.
All right. So they're going to trade Rodgers and play Love, or they're going to trade Love. And it seems real hard for me to. I mean, I guess they could keep them both. That seems like a really odd thing to do. Aaron Rodgers went 1 round earlier, which I think is interesting.
It's insane.
That's the ships in the night moment, right?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good value on Jordan Love. I think he's going to be a starting quarterback for years, and I liked what he looked. Running backs. I normally don't like to take running. This group was really interesting. No running backs went in the first round, and you see the older running backs got faded. So I ended up taking Tony Pollard 807.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Higher than I usually take a running. But I thought that was some really good value.
Boy, Zeke Elliott in the 15th, that just jumps right off the page to me. I mean,
that's
so. I mean, probably, Zeke's best days are behind him. We all know that. But,
he's shockingly only 27.
Yeah, I mean, and he's got a lot of touches lifetime, but the guy's been just so productive. He's such good size, and you get to pair him with Pollard, so you're covered there. I mean, you're talking about you're looking at Zeke, Dameon Harris, or Kareem Hunt. I mean, that's easy Zeke. That's easy Zeke. That's so low for him. I didn't think he'd fall that far. And by the time more consistent draft season rolls around, Zeke's not going to go that late in drafts unless he gets cut or something, which I don't think will happen.
No, I think what's more interesting is I think he'll go there if Tony Pollard goes back.
Yeah.
I think he has a good chance to rise if Tony Pollard goes anywhere. That to me is a big piece.
I mean, you got him as what? I'd like. I don't want to add them all up, but what running back off the board is this? It's probably RB 30. You took Zeke, and I mean, just look at the production profile. He could have the downest year of his career, and you still got a value. So, I like it.
I thought Algier and Robinson, that's about where I want to take some shots. But even still, that's a play. Be taking wide receivers, but the wide receivers, because I would normally expect these running backs to be gone. Pacheco also went 12th round. I think that's an interesting place to go if those guys are falling and you're trying to fade running backs in the startup. So 11th round, Algier, A.J. Dillon also goes in that round. 12th round, Pacheco, Brian Robinson, Khalil Herbert. I think those are interesting guys for your start.
Yeah, there's some big-time values. I like that Khalil Herbert in the 12th there. I definitely still would take Robinson over him just because starter versus backup, air quotes backup. Who knows what's going to happen with Monty? But I mean, shoot, in this draft you're seeing Herbert go above Monty, so that's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, man, my wide receiver room. I did not get as many wide receivers as I do. It's but those are some guys who I really like. What do you think about Jerry Jeudy passing on Watson?
Yeah, I like that a lot. I've always been a Jeudy truther. I've always loved Jerry Jeudy. I was taking him in the 5th or 6th round last year. I'm not giving up on these Broncos. I'm not giving up on this Russell Wilson era in Denver at all. Like I see Russ in your draft going in what was this, like the 6th round? I would
6th round.
totally take him there. I'd totally take Jeudy where he was taken. Dulcich I think is going to be one of my favorite tight ends to draft this upcoming season. I love what Sean Payton brings to the table. The Dotson over McLaurin is like, I probably would have taken McLaurin.
6 years of age, and they were 6 years of age.
A lot of productivity though, and McLaurin's definitely not over the hill by any means. I mean, McLaurin's coming off.
I know
he's coming off his best season. I've always loved the talent. He's bigger than Dotson. I probably would have McLaurin there, but
Dotson scored more points per game than McLaurin in games both.
Yeah, honestly, the Freiermuth, is this a 10 and premium league?
It's yes, half PPR, half point tight end premium, half point first down.
If it were me in that 7.6 spot, I probably would have taken a Freiermuth or a Goedert. Honestly, that probably over the receivers. But I mean, you can't hate Dotson.
Yeah, no, I see. I like. I like the profile. I liked the college profile, and then when you add in the draft capital, I don't know. I think he is one of the buy lows of the offseason. I really get the Freiermuth. I get what you're saying with Freiermuth.
Goedert specifically. I would have taken Goedert at 7.6.
Goedert's so old already.
Oh, it's fine. He's so handsome and awesome at football, and I think he's going to keep killing it.
I don't know. I get it. I get it. But I thought there was value at the next round group of tight end. The other thing at this wide receiver group, I highlighted Tim Patrick here.
Yeah.
Theft. The Sean Payton hire happened, I want to say like round 18.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I could not believe that Tim Patrick came around 5 more times. I think there's a reasonable chance that he is the wide receiver 2 behind Jeudy this year.
There's a good chance, and he handcuffs both of those guys who are each have injury histories. I hate using the word injury prone, but 2 guys that have definitely missed a lot of time between Sutton and Jeudy. You talk about Patrick, who's been a ball player. Patrick's a guy I'm holding in a lot of leagues that I didn't cut, that I have in my IRs. I'm excited for him.
Absolutely. And then, I just think some other guy. I think Tyler Boyd's a pretty Higgins stuff, right? Like, if you can get him at wide receiver prices.
Boyd's under contract for next year, right?
He is. And if Higgins leaves, if Higgins makes a stink and gets sent away for 2 firsts, Boyd could bump 6 rounds.
Yeah, he could become like an Adam Thielen-esque type hyper value in those middle rounds.
Tight end, I took Greg Dulcich as my tight end one, and I think waiting till the very end of round 10 to go for tight end and still getting Greg Dulcich was fantastic. I disagree. I took him over Njoku and McBride, and I don't know how you feel about those.
No, I love it. I'd take Dulcich there. I would take Dulcich over Njoku. McBride I'm down to just pass on him. I do like the player. It's just Ertz is still there. He is a free agent. Who knows? Kyler's hurt. I don't know. McBride didn't do all that much to make me super excited about him. I would have taken Dulcich right in that spot. I would made the exact same selection right there in 10-11 out of the whole field.
And then Juwan Johnson, Irv Smith, Robert Tonyan.
Good.
I think Robert Tonyan is being slept on a little. I think people think Robert Tonyan is very old and Dallas Goedert is very young, and they are both 20.
Mm-hmm. It's tough with Tanya because he played so much and still didn't really do that much, you know. But he's been so productive in the past, so what do you do?
Yeah. All right, so I got a quick exercise here.
Mm-hmm.
Some draft picks.
Yeah.
I took 10 draft rookie picks with my selections. So I'm going to tell you the rookie pick, the slot I took them at, and some best player available, and you tell me if I should have taken the rookie pick or one of these players. So I took rookie pick 106 in the 4th round. Best players available: Pittman, Godwin, Javonte.
Love it. I'd have taken the rookie pick too. I would have smashed that kicker. That's just the sweet spot in the draft where you're going to get either, you know, I could definitely see a world where like a Jahmyr Gibbs gets forced down because people take quarterbacks or they fall in love with a receiver. I like that.
If the 4 quarterbacks get high capital, that's a super, right?
You guys are planning on doing the rookie draft for this league like after the NFL draft, right? Like you're going to do that in like April, May. You know?
Yes.
Okay, so something I want to touch on. If you're drafting right now and you're doing these kicker rookies, I tend to lean into the kicker, not because I love rookies so much, but you get to postpone the decision, okay? And that's tremendously valuable. Knowledge is power in this game. Information is key. And you get to, if you take a kicker, you get to say, hey, I'm going to make this decision in a few months when I know more about the landscape. Okay, so just that alone bumps up every single kicker along the board, and so.
And one decision you can make is trade it back for a veteran player.
Yeah, totally. Like that 106 preserves all. Like you get to hold all that value and preserve it into a future turn.
Like I can go turn that into Godwin on draft day.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. All right. I took the 203 in the 9th round. My best players available were Jordan Love, who I got in the next round, Kadarius Toney, and Miles Sanders.
Yeah, but you see other guys like Mike Williams, Gabe Davis, Aaron Jones going off the board afterwards. I love the kicker. I love the rookie pick there for the same reasons I mentioned. I don't see any of those players as being so much better than what the rookie represents, where I would be willing to make the decision now and not want that more information in the future. So yeah, I like the.
You traded 207 for Toney,
mm-hmm.
but you'd rather have But would you trade 203 for Toney?
No, I have the 203 in that league, and I wouldn't have traded it.
Wouldn't have traded. Okay. No. What about Miles Sanders? I think he's an interesting.
Yeah, the 203, you could be looking at a receiver who got first-round draft capital. I mean, we've seen that in the past. Guys like Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins was like the 201 the year he came out, but you can get, especially this upcoming season, quality players in the high second. Miles Sanders, you could take him right now, and they could draft Bijan. And again, like I said, with just information. Yeah, or he's a free agent. Like, you're making such a big commitment with such little knowledge right now, and I don't want to do that. So I'm all in on the rookie there. Jordan Love would have been my next pick. If I didn't take the
player on my board.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I gambled and got him in the next round, and I actually might prefer Jordan Love, and I kind of took the gamble that he would be.
Well, 3 other kickers went, so if Love was your best player and you might have taken a kicker in the next round, you got the 203 instead of the
207.
Yeah, that's big. That's probably a whole tier gap right there. So that's pretty good.
That was my gamble. All right, 13th round, I took the 2.10. Mm-hmm. Best players available: Alexander Madison, John Mechie, Chase Claypool.
Yeah, again, give me all the rookies. Which kicker was that? That was the 13.6 pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that low in the startup to get a still second round rookie is pretty good. Romeo Doubs is interesting to me there. Dawson Knox is interesting. Michael Thomas, I think, is the big one. A lot of people might take him. Who knows what do you even do with Michael Thomas at this point? I don't know. But I like the rookie there, sure.
Okay, and then and then I kept coming with rookies, right? So 14th round, I took the 301. Still think those high third this year are going to be second round picks. We just added one in that property trade in our league.
Mm-hmm.
So I took the 301 here in the 14th round. Best players available: Antonio Gibson, Nico Collins, Daniel Bellinger. I didn't mention Nico Collins on that last pick. He might be the best player.
Yeah, he's interesting, especially if Cooks moves on. Who knows who they bring in at quarterback? If whatever rookie quarterback they land on does break out into an elite talent, Collins is someone who could just fly up draft boards and become a tremendous value. Um,
What do you think about Collins going around after Mechie?
Interesting. I don't know why you would do that. It's just a lot of big belief on Mechie or fade on Collins. I'm not sure. I don't think I'd do that. I would take Nico Collins over John Mechie right now, just because he's playing and healthy. And I mean, God love John Mechie. I hope he's all right, but it's hard to take that shot on him.
So you think Nico Collins or 301?
I think Dan Bellinger.
You think Dan Bellinger?
Maybe. I like Bellinger a lot,
you
man.
Think Dan Bellinger? I think
I traded a late second to get Bellinger in a 2 tight end league a couple weeks ago. So
this is a 1 tight end.
Yeah.
Half PPR, so you can bring back.
Gallup being there is kind of interesting.
I'll tell you, I thought Bellinger, Woods, or Gesicki would get back to me the next time around, and none of them.
Yeah.
That was kind of my thought. And
you had a home run with Zeke, though, I think. I mean, I like Zeke a lot.
All right, 304 or playoff Lenny or Rashid Shaheed, Michael.
I mean, the bottom just fell out on Fournette without Brady, right?
Well, he's a free agent.
Yeah.
So he can play somewhere else if anybody's going to pay him.
Still, it's like he's older. The free agent isn't necessarily a good thing. It just means he has to go travel. Like all these rookies coming out, all these other free agent running backs. Like,
so you're not interested.
Give me that rookie, baby. Oh, give me whatever rookie tailback.
304 or Rashid Shaheed.
What do you do with Rashid Shaheed? He's flashed. I'd probably take him a little later though. I'd probably let someone else take the dart on Shaheed. Give me the.
He would have been the player I would take. Okay, so I think there is a not zero chance that he is the starter opposite of. I don't think Michael Thomas is going to be.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, Landry could return. They're probably going to add a receiver.
Yeah, but like Rashid Shaheed flashed. I don't know. I think there's a chance.
If they land a veteran upgraded quarterback like Carr or something, Shaheed would probably bump up and be the pick there for me. But at the current landscape, just give me the rookie here in February.
311 or Pierre Strong, Adam Thielen, Tim Patrick.
Yeah, Thielen's hard to ignore. But are they going to move on from him, you think?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
I do not believe he's there.
Yeah, I like what you did taking Patrick. Cordero Patterson might have been interesting there, just because of the upside.
21st round 21.
It's 24th round. Yeah, I like Patrick.
No. In the 21st round, I'm taking. You taking?
You're talking about the rook up here, yeah.
Yeah, I thought I had Tim Patrick as the best player available for 3 rounds.
Mm-hmm. What are you doing with Mike White? Was he in play for you there in this range of picks? Okay.
Nope.
All right.
Heineke was more in this range of picks. Hayden Hurst was kind of in.
Yeah, Hayden Hurst is interesting. Taysom Hill is also something. I don't know what you do with him.
But I was looking at those guys and I was thinking, I like Robert Tonyan just as much. He's just hanging there and gonna sit there for 4 more rounds.
Yeah.
Why not take some rookies and then I'll go take Tonyan down there? That was kind of where I was at, and it kept falling. I think the rookies are good value. Do you like any of these very late values? Van Jefferson over the 4.
I might have went Van there, maybe. I like Van. I'm not giving up on him, but I can't blame you for taking the rook. Again, just the information, the knowledge is just so huge. Duvernay or Jefferson.
403.
Yeah.
Duvernay or the 403.
It's tough.
I just was so disappointed by Duvernay.
Yeah.
Given great opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the upset at quarterback, right? Like, who knows what's going on. 5th round pick or Tyrion Davis Price.
Yeah, I have so much Tyrion Davis Price. He's in like almost every single one of my taxis, and it feels bad right now. being inactive and it's
I
not
took the
good.
502 over TDP. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, I probably would have taken Price, but like, I don't know. It's a Price. They could add another running back and move on from Price, or just put him on their
Well,
practice squad. I mean, that could
they
totally
cut
happen.
Trace Sermon
Yeah.
fast.
Yep. So it's there.
502 with Drew Lock in a super.
Give me the 5. Take the rookie.
504 or Kenny Golladay in a super.
504 or Kenny Golladay. I can't believe this is even a
He
conversation.
was the highest paid wide receiver last year. Last year.
Is there a redemption arc on Kenny Galladay's career?
I cannot imagine it.
I can't think so either. If he was any good, they would have played him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Galladay's basically dead.
504 or Andy Dalton.
I mean, under the current landscape, probably Dalton, just because he is the starter, and who knows what's going to happen. But like, as soon as they move to add someone, it's the rookie.
All right. Well, that's my startup draft. All right. You had one topic you wanted to talk about, Tony. Why don't you get us to that and close us out then?
Yeah. So guys, this is something that's been pretty near and dear to my heart that I wanted to talk about. So I like to play in bigger leagues. When I say bigger, I mean like 14-team leagues, 16-team leagues. I know a lot of people like to have one or two of those to mess around with. And a big thing that I get asked a lot about is what adjustments do you make to go from when you go from a 12 to a 14 or a 16 or a 32, like Greg mentioned earlier. And I just want to talk about the mentality going into that kind of stuff. So, of course, we're always talking about Superflex on the channel. So when you're looking at a 14-team Superflex league, obviously quarterbacks are going to jump up in value, but how much do they jump up in value? I like to think, at least when you look at like a calculator, or at least in your own mental value of them, I bump up the quarterback about 20%, in 20 to 25% in total value, and that becomes a greater number when you're talking about the higher tier of QB, those elite top 10, top 6 type guys. So like all the things that you know about fantasy dynasty become amplified when you're looking at bigger leagues. Okay, so the elite talents are worth even more. The higher draft picks are worth even more. Rookie picks that aren't as valuable become even less valuable, and that's something that you want to take into account when you're looking at these bigger leagues. So like rookie picks, right? Any individual rookie pick, any random future rookie pick has a wider breadth of where that pick may land in the future, and it's not added to the front end, it's added to the back end. So in a normal 12-team league, a random first could be anywhere from 1 to 12. In a 16-team league, that's 1 to 16. So you've only added more negative outcomes to the equation. So you have to look at rookie picks as being less valuable in larger
I want to
leagues.
throw in there that for lower round,
mm-hmm.
right? So in a 16-team league, a second-round pick starts at 17.
Yeah. So you're already talking about a middle second in a normal 12er. Yeah.
Starts at 17 and runs through 32, which is late third-round pick. And in the 216 is worth the 308, right? So if you're trading for playoff team's second-round pick, you're not getting a.
Yeah. So the quarterbacks are tremendously valuable. The elite quarterbacks are going to carry you even more. So like in a 16 and a 14-team league, just the amount of points, the average points any individual team puts up is going to be lower due to the discrepancy of more teams. So when you have an elite player, a Kelsey, Jamar Chase, a Patrick Mahomes, that player is suddenly worth even more than traditionally is. So like what that means is when you're going into the startup draft, you want to be picking as high as possible every single time. Trading up in the draft is usually worthwhile if you can leverage a square trade for yourself. You want to have these elite players, and like I said, picks are worth a little less. So I want to throw some example trades at you. And I have this 16-team league that I have here. We have Justin Herbert, Kenneth Walker, James Williams, George Pickens, and we got Burrow down here. And I made a couple moves that I just want to put out there on the record for you guys. So in season along the way this year, I made this move. I traded away Chris Olave, and I got a 23 first, 23 second, and 24 second. So you know me. I love my 2-for-1s, my 3-for-1s. That's what I was drooling over here. But this trade ended up blowing for me. This was absolute failure, complete value loss. This ended up being the 115, the 215, which is the 31st pick, and a random 24 second on a good team. So all for Olave. So I got hosed here. I'd love to have this trade back.
So
Yeah.
let's just translate that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for Olave, you got in what would be in a 12-team league.
Yeah.
The 203, right?
Yeah.
The 307.
Yeah.
And probably the equivalent of an early 24
third. Yeah, that's just bad. Yeah. Olave's worth a lot more than that, and for the reasons I mentioned, he's produced heavily. It looks like he's going to continue to do so. So Olave is worth a lot. Those picks are not. I lost this trade poorly. So don't do this stuff. If you're going to trade away a nice young talent that's putting up a lot of points, even though it's a 3-for-1 for me, it's still not worthwhile. You have to be greedier in your larger leagues. It's the big takeaway. Be even greedier than you normally are when you're dealing with a 12-team league. And just with the idea of quarterbacks on your mind, this is a trade I made to acquire Joe Burrow. So I already have Justin Herbert. I want to add a second elite quarterback. A dude put Burrow on the block. I sent him an offer. We exchanged a couple, but this is what we landed on. So in the deal, Stosh acquires Joe Burrow and Greg Dulcich. And this is, I have no tight end. My tight end last season was Jonnu Smith. So I bring in Burrow and Dulcich, a player I know I like. We give up the 104, 23 rookie, the 112, the 114, the 207 rookie pick, and a 24 second round pick, all to acquire Burrow and Dulcich. Now, that's a lot. That's 5 for 2.
It's not. No. So So again, let's do the translation. So you're giving up the 104, the 112, the 202, the 209, and a 2024 late second, early.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's 209. It's the 207 rookie, so it's like the 23rd overall rookie, so it's like the 211.
211, that's right. Yeah, so the 211. Yeah, so you're that's not enough. I mean, listen, if a third quarterback hits, right, and so then you get, if he ends up taking Anthony Richardson, and that turns into the next Jalen Hurts, then he won the trade. But that's a lot of stuff that has to go right. When you could end up just if he gets Ryan Leaf on it, he's giving Joe Burrow away for nothing.
Yeah, and the time is relevant also. Even if that player does develop well, it's probably going to take him a year or two to do that, to really produce. I mean, Justin Herbert being the outlier, we don't expect player to do that. But even elite talents like Fields and Lawrence and Burrow all took at least a year to come on. And I'm I took my tanking season. I'm hoping to be competitive next year. I'm planning to be competitive with this team. And in a 16-team league, for me to have Herbert and Burrow, I don't have to put that much out there along the rest of my roster to at least be playoff caliber. It's an 8-team playoff, so all I got to do is be in the top half. Well, I'm thinking my quarterbacks should put me in the top half. That's the strategy I took. You can see the team right there, but
I love it.
So point being, you want to attack the elite players when other people put them on the block. You want to send out offers. You want to be greedy when you're doing it, more greedier than you are in your 12-team leagues. And rookie picks in general, future random rookie picks, are less valuable than you think they would be otherwise. So try to leverage all that stuff in your favor. Attack elite players and move your rookies off as much as you can. And when you're going to buy rookie picks, you got to be real greedy. I mean, you got to take like that guy's whole, like almost every rookie pick they own if you're gonna move a high end player. So just something to think about in your 14s and 16s. Yeah.
Right. I mean, obviously the exception to that is the high firsts are rookie picks that are now worth more than normal, right? So like once their picks are assigned, your 101, 102, 103 are worth even more than in a 12-team league because elite players are worth.
Yes, correct. Like
so,
Bijan's worth more than he would be in a 12.
Right.
101.
So those are the only picks that are worth more. Anytime you're dealing with random future pick, it's always worth much less.
Yes, correct. So, just something to think about, something to just a way to approach that. Also, something to touch on is when you're dealing with these larger leagues, 14 and 16, a lot of times they still have the same size bench as other leagues, these 10, 12, 14 team benches. But because the players are spread out more thin, you have more roster spots overall. You can definitely you have a bunch of space to churn the bottom of your roster. So, you can as much as you can leverage getting like your big 3-for-1, 4-for-1 type deals. You can do that to get rookie picks and fill out your roster. You have more roster space to work with. You're not being squeezed like you would be in a 12-team league with only 8 or 10 bench. So, yeah, that's my approach to larger leagues.
Very good. All right. So that I think was a really good primer. I'd love to add some 14 and 16 team leagues. I only play in one, and it's also my only one QB league. So I don't have a lot of experience in the 14 and 16 flex. I also do play in a 32-teamer, which
that's
is a
insane.
whole other
32 would be nuts. I couldn't even imagine that. That'd be wild. It's just
a whole other ballgame.
The whole first round's quarterbacks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, very good.
Well, hey, thanks for sticking with us. If you made it the whole hour here, just thank you for tuning in. We're going to keep trying to roll shows out every Tuesday here throughout the off season. I'd like to get some community mocks going. Get some maybe a couple people in Discord. Just get live people running mocks, startup mocks, rookie mocks, whatever it might be, and make some content on that. So if you're interested in doing something like that, hit me up in the DMs. Maybe leave a comment on the video. Hey, I'd love to be a part of your mock draft process because that's coming for sure. We're definitely going to get a listener league going, an actual dynasty league. We're going to take our winnings from the 24/7 league, and we're going to put that as a prize for our listener league that we're going to have here going. Probably get that started in around rookie draft time, around April. But yeah, leave a comment.
You can also DM me You can also DM me on Twitter, FF Dynasty DGen, if you want to be part of a mock process, or if you're somebody out there who has your own content that you're producing and you want to come chat with us, let us know. We're always looking for good content for the channel.
Yeah, we're always looking for friends, man. If you love fantasy, if you love playing Dynasty, then hit us up because there's always something to talk about. I'd like to bring in some guests and just to keep growing this thing. But thanks for tuning in. Thank you all my first round picks out there. We're going to let you go. Have a wonderful day, everybody.